Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am back with the one and only, the greatest co-host of all time, the man, the myth, the legend. Built a rock pool in his backyard. He has the highest streaming count of all time.
That's not true.
There's more people in his pool than there is in this gym training. I don't know what they do, but when they do it big. From his manager to his coach to his stylist to his son. They do whatever they want to do when they're in that pool. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the greatest co-host of all time and influencer of the year, Rampage Jaxxon. Quentin. And we got a very special guest. This guy never does interviews. I couldn't even find a podcast with you. No. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Ed. Let's go, Ed! And all joking aside, I went online with the team. We were trying to find interviews. We were trying to find things because of your legendary career. We'll jump right into that. But there's nothing. It's like you wiped the internet of your face, your interviews. What's going on?
I don't know. Just after Ronda's career, just stop being in the spotlight, I guess. Not too many interviews, but still had a lot of fighters, training young kids. I got Edmond Tarverdyan from 10 years old, with me still in the UFC doing good things, but he broke into the top 10 when he was 21 or something, trying to break John Jones's record. So we did good, We got kids from young age that, I trained and got in there. So that is more, I'm more happy with that, instead of having fighters that are already established and, had a career like Jake Ellenberger, Travis Brown. They came to me, with, of course, coming off of losses, and it's way different, than training somebody from zero, from ground up, 10 years old and making it into the UFC. So we did pretty well.
I think before we jump into this, Rampage, because you're so familiar with his background, his history, we've been having the pleasure of seeing him here at the Jaxxon Media House in Santo Performance Studio with Arman. That's how I got to meet him. I kind of just want to know, how did you even get into fighting, get into coaching? I know it's a generic question, but you have such an extensive career. I feel like people should kind of know your background a little bit more. Yeah,
I think in Armenia it was so big, Bruce Lee posters, everybody collecting Bruce Lee posters. It's either soccer or fighting. So fighting on the streets, and then coming to the States in 89 when I was 8, just keep fighting, Armenians came and a lot of Latinos. Now we're brothers and friends, all the Southsiders together. But back in the days, we used to bang it out every day out on the street. So we had to do martial arts. So I got into martial arts and started training and did Sanda Wushu, which is like the Chinese martial arts, what Kung Lee and all those guys did. So started with that, then got into boxing, kickboxing, then Muay Thai was, of course, the professional league in United States. So I fought, professionally as a Thai boxer. And then at 16, my coach opened up another gym in North Hollywood. So he had a gym in Glendale, very little students left, 10 students left because he was getting married and opened up a new gym. And there was another coach there, basically. He opened up his own gym. So all the kids left with him. There was 10 left, 3 months left for the lease to be over. He said, why don't you take over these 10 kids? You'll help me out a little bit with the rent, and they were paying $100 back in the days. That's in 98. I was 16 years old, yeah. And so it was 1,600 square feet place, 1,600 rent. I was giving him $1,000. The 3 months by the time the lease was over, so we could give it back, all the kids knew I started coaching and I was one of the best students. So all the kids started coming back. Next thing I know, within 3 months, there was 100 kids, training with me. So the parents were like, oh, you could still fight. You could coach. Please don't let us down. What are these kids going to do? They love you. So I just, started coaching. I didn't even want to be a coach, it happened. And I guess I was good at it, just from the get-go at 16, earning the respect from all those parents and all those, adults that come and train with me. So I just stuck with it and started, training and made my gym bigger, slowly expanded, and then went on brand and got a bigger gym. And that's when all the fighters slowly started coming in, got good fighters, Ronda coming in, of course. But before Ronda, I had way better fighters. I had the best bantamweight in boxing history, Tsarukyan, which was a big knockout artist, and actually the guy that brought Showtime boxing attention to the bantamweights, because you didn't have those little guys, 112 pounds, fighting on TV. And Evander Holyfield, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Victor Chinian were the biggest Showtime showbox main event fighters, and with the record with the most world title appearances. So I trained him, and we had a good run, and he was, unified champion. So he was great. I think I was just ready, for all the other fighters to come in. So when Ronda came in, I had Vic and I had Vanes, the first U.S. Olympian that was Armenian kid from Glendale, fought Triple G, of course. So I was ready, when she came, and that's why I think she saw that and she stuck with me, to train her
Is
from a
Ronda-
small gym.
Is Ronda Rousey, is she Armenian too?
No, she's not Armenian. Ronda is from Venice, and and she was the females, GOAT. I would say best one in the UFC.
Yeah.
Brought all the attention to the females, and that's why the girls are fighting.
Yeah, she blew up. She was a mega star. She blew up fast too.
Very fast. Yeah, she was fighting on Strikeforce and then won the title.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, got the attention of Dana, and Dana just signed her, after the fight where he fought Misha. I think, that was big. And her numbers were actually bigger than Fedor's and everybody else. And so they saw the numbers were big on the views, and they just signed her, and then that's it.
What do you think? What do you think it was about her that made her such a superstar so fast?
Man, honestly, she's very strong, and sometimes they're like, oh, could she beat guys? Is she as good? I always have an example. In Armenia, we had a weightlifter. So she was 61 kilos. So 61 kilos, 135 pounds. Ronda is 135 too. She fights at 135, which is 61 kilos. That girl she was a world champion in weightlifting. She lifted 150 kilos. We can't, 150 kilos, like 330 pounds. I can't do that. Yeah. We can't do that. I mean, both of us together, maybe me and Bear could do that. But so if she could do that, you're thinking about weights. Now, Judo is the gentle way. There's more art to it. It's about timing, you got to know the art. So if you think you could beat her, I mean, you're out of your mind, because we can't even lift that weight, and that's lifting. You're like, okay, I could do it, but we can't do it. We're not as strong as her. We don't know the technique as well as her. So, that's how good she was. She was like very physically strong, very, Olympian, first Olympian medalist, from the U.S. team, female bronze medalist, world champion in the juniors. So yeah, she had a good background, man. When she came to me, of course I didn't want to train her because I had all those good fighters in the gym, good guys making money. And what are you going to do with the female? There's no MMA for girls. And then back then, but there was Gina Carano fighting.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to Gary Shaw, was the promoter actually. He was Elite XC, I believe. And when I spoke to Gary, because Gary Shaw promoted Victor Archinian, my boxer. So I called him, I said, how much does this girl make, fighting as a main event fighter with Cyborg and all that stuff? He said 200,000. So when he said that, I said, all right, I mean, it's something for her to make a living, to fight a few fights a year. So that's when I started thinking, okay, she could do this. I mean, or else what would be the purpose? You're an Olympic medalist. Go teach your art, to the youth. Do something, Pretty girl, do something with your career. Why get into MMA? It made no sense to me. But after speaking to Gary Shaw, I said, all right, let me give it a try. I started working with her, but the first 4 months, I didn't train her at all. I didn't pay attention to her. We had a lot of pros in the gym and a lot of boxers and kickboxers and MMA fighters. That's where all the Armenians were training with me too, Manny Gamburian and all those guys, friends with Karo Parisian from Hayastan MMA. Because I trained with them when I was younger too. We would co-train, I would go to their gym. They would come to my gym. So good fighters, all of them good fighters, great fighters.
Yeah, Gina Carano had a kind of like a very short stint MMA career. It's from 2007, 2009. After the Cyborg loss, she didn't fight again.
Yeah, but she kickboxed, so she was more of a kickboxer. She had a lot of pro kickboxing matches.
Yeah. It would have been amazing to see her kind of go and kind of carry the flag in the UFC and get involved with some of those original women pioneering.
Yeah, but the UFC wasn't having women fights then. When she was
too early.
Not at all.
Yeah, too early.
No,
kind of pioneered though. I think you said it the other day, something about someone walking so someone could run.
Yeah. Gina Carano. Yeah.
It's interesting. When I look at kind of the status of what's going on, before I go into the Ronda thing, on the Jaxxon podcast Discord, which is where people get to ask questions, you actually just touched on it a little bit. And I kind of wanted to answer the question for the fans that asked questions before it. They talked about this Asian martial art that you were doing and what you were doing and who taught you and where was it and et cetera. Can you kind of just go into that real quick, just because that was one of the main questions in the podcast?
Yeah. So Chinese martial arts, Wushu was so difficult because I did the Ta Lu, which is basically like the forms, like the katas. So it's like a lot of acrobatic involved in it. The fighting style is Sanshou, which is boxing with kickboxing with takedowns. So that's where I learned all the throws and stuff. So it was easy for me to transition to an MMA, except the ground fighting. Now you don't know the submissions. But yeah, I did that, and that's where my boxing got good, kickboxing got good, but it wasn't so big. But I did a lot of competitions in San Jose, which is Kung Lee had a school there, and I did a lot of fights there. But my coach, Ken Arutyunian, was like from Soviet Union, Armenia, and over there it was big, wushu was big. So I loved it until like 14, 15, I did, wushu and Chinese martial arts, and then saw that, professional fighting here is Muay Thai, kickboxing, that's where I could make money. So I started just fighting, Muay Thai fights. But back then there wasn't even elbows involved, but I was the first one that actually fought at the casino, Crystal Park Casino, which they started allowing the elbows. So fought that first event, and King's birthday did a Muay Thai fight for the WBC title, and that's where the use of the elbows they started letting. So, but back then, UFC wasn't so big. Like for me, my mindset, I was a stand-up fighter. I wasn't even thinking about doing, mixed martial arts. So the guys I think that did grappling and wrestling, I think got a little bit luckier because transitioned better. They had no professional place to go to. What were they gonna do? So they started just getting into the octagon.
Have you ever had an MMA fight?
Yes, I had 2 MMA fights.
2?
2.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. Just did it for them. Ronda was like, "Oh, you could do it, coach at the same time." But it's tough, man, having all those students, But when I would box too. I boxed a lot of great fighters at Wildcard. I coached my fighters for like 12 years and had a lot of my fighters with sparring partners with Manny Pacquiao and all those guys. But when I used to box, they just box, But then having a gym boxing is so serious, you can't go teach martial arts on the side and go box. So I felt more. I was like embarrassed to do both. Now it's different. Now you see guys that are great martial artists, they get into boxing and become boxing world champions. But back in the days, it was like thing for me, like why I'm boxing, but I'm a martial artist. Like it's not cool, I felt I was young and I didn't know better,
Yeah, speaking of boxing, I heard you got into a fight with Don King at a boxing gym.
Yeah, at a boxing gym, man. Don King, crazy. Don King's crazy. So I had a fighter, Vanes, I told you about, first U.S. Olympian, Armenian kid, actually beat Andre Berto in the Olympic trials, and Austin Trout, he dropped him 3 times. So great fighter, and won a title, WBC silver world title. So he wasn't fighting for like 6-7 months, and we were having a hard time. We were number 1 ranked in the WBC, not getting fights with Canelo, all this stuff, a lot of politics. So I flew into Miami, and we got $300,000 cash from Don King, because I managed them also. And we picked up the money. We said, yeah, we'll fight. And then during the fight, there was the Triple G opponent fell out. So there was an opportunity. It was 1 weight above. So I said, all right, hell with it. Like we could fight him. So we pitched that to Don, and he gave us $300,000. And then during the fight, he sent a contract out. Tom Loeffler was Evgeny Golovkin's promoter, and in the contract, like the $300,000 was out. It was like he took it out of the purse. So I'm like, why are you doing that? Oh, because I gave you 300. I said, you gave that to sign a fighter that's ready to fight for a world title. You didn't give that to us to take it out of the purse. So he literally started yelling and all that stuff. And every time you would call on his phone, he would pick it up and like loud, like act like a different person, and then you could tell like he would tone down the tone a little bit, his speaking voice, and then he would say, "Hey, all right, this Don King." It's like it was him. Like I'm like, what are you doing, man? What's this guy doing? And then he
Wait,
told
what
me,
do you
like,
mean?
Yeah, like he would get the phone, like he would start talking, like. Oh yeah, you're looking for Don King, this, that, and then, but it's him.
It's him.
Yeah, it's him.
He pretend to be his own assistant?
And then he's like, yeah, wait,
Don,
this is Don.
big time.
Yeah, like, and then when the first day when I went there, he kept us like an hour before he brought us up to the room, and I got pissed off. I went to the assistant. I said, "What the hell is going on? Why are you keeping me for an hour here? We have to go up." And he was just chill upstairs alone doing nothing. And then every time, every time he would talk, he would do stuff like that, and then like ha ha ha, laugh loud, and then start speaking. And one lady over there writing everything we say is like trying to intimidate you. I'm like, what is this guy doing, man? This guy's crazy. And then he took out from his duffel bag, took out $300,000 cash. And then when he sent that contract, I sent it back. I said, we're not going to fight for this money. This is why you deducting the 300. He called me on the phone. I pick up. Well, you got to watch your back. I said, listen, man, you're old already. Your one leg is in the graveyard, one is out. Why don't you give the young guys a chance to make money in this sport too? You know, why are you doing that? I said, you know what? You come to LA, you better watch your back, man. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna come to Miami, but you better watch your back. When you come here, we got some homies too. You know what I mean? You better watch your back. So it was crazy, man. That guy, yeah. But he knew everything about like the Armenian genocide, the history, like why we do a certain things, why Christians do a certain things. And I'm like, man, he knew more than me. I'm like, this guy at 9 years old, this wise. And then it was crazy because the Uber driver was taking us and he was like, you're going by Don King? No, please don't sign with him. And he started shaking, man. I'm like, holy shit, we had one person dropping us off. He's like, he fucked me, you know, in this, we had deals doing, you know, in real estate, and he did all this to me, this, that. Please don't go there. Please, you know, change your mind. Don't sign this young fighter to him. So I was like, man, but everybody knew.
I never heard one good thing about Don King.
Yeah, man. I swear the Uber driver was like literally shaking. I'm like, bro, are you okay? Like, he's like, please don't sign with him. This young kid, he's gonna, you know, ruin his career. And next thing you know, during the weigh-ins, he deducted another 20,000. I'm like, what is this? And he's not coming to the weigh-ins. And if we don't sign that contract, we can't step on the scale. So Gennady's team is going crazy. And I know Abel Sanchez. I trained there for like 2 months, you know, took Ronda up there in Big Bear, and we trained. I'm like, dude, I can't sign this. Why is he deducting another 20,000? He literally, you know, wasn't coming down. We had to wait there an hour and a half. Then the lawyer came down. He held us 2 hours there as hostage, man. We couldn't weigh in. Took out another 20,000 for no reason. No reason. It just says deduction. You owe me on the contract $20,000. I swear there was nothing like that. I'm like, this is the craziest shit, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. You hear horror stories about him charging Mike Tyson a bunch of money for drying tiles.
I saw it. I swear to God, he tried to like steal another 20 last second, bro. Thank God I read it. I'm like, why is this 20 out? What did we do? We never got 20.
Did you have to sign
No,
it?
then we had the commission was so pissed, man. The commission's like called Don and he's upstairs in his room. I don't know what he's doing. You know, so Gennady was going crazy. They're trying to make weight. They made weight. I mean, they're hungry, you know? So we had to like cross it off. The commission was like, you know, I know, Edmond, you're right, you know? They had to cross it off, initial it, and the lawyer came until we signed it.
Just to try to make a quick 20. I mean, there's a legendary story. When Tyson was in prison, you know, Don was supposed to be running the gym. They opened together or whatnot, you know, allegedly. And I guess he was getting charged like, you know, $1,400 a day or a week or something.
Yeah, 100%.
Just to change the towels in a gym that no one's going to because Mike's in prison. And he comes out, he's like, yo, I got this bill, I got that.
Bills,
you know, you hit me with all these maintenance
Yeah.
bills. And Mike Tyson's like, come on, man. But it's so crazy because in the same situation, you see Mike Tyson's career, as he slowly got away from that, he became more and more aware of everything and then became an advocate for it because he's like, look at the things that they did to me. They're vultures, you know? That's why Mike Tyson's so passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it is with managers.
Oh my God, I know how it is. So sad. Yeah.
But it's hard enough to deal with your own managers. Imagine having to deal with the people you're fighting that are signing you to the fight because boxing, the promotion is crazy because you guys fought Triple G
against each other. Yeah,
it was two weeks short notice?
Yeah, 2 weeks short notice. And, you know, the only good thing is like, you know, if you're sharp enough now, you know, we did well because, you know, there's things that you could do over there that, you know, could benefit you. Like talking to Tom. I know Tom. Realistically, you're not supposed to. But, you know, if I have to, you know, it's between us. I could talk to Tom. Hey, this is the deal that I'm getting, you know. When I'm fighting your fighter, I'm trying to save the event. So now you got to work with me, you know. So there's things that we did that, you know, it's legally it's supposed to be a bit different, but it's a crazy business. They're doing the same thing, so you gotta, you know, get around it a little bit, you know, do it the way that could benefit you and the fighter. There's no other else way of doing it, you know. It's crazy.
Did you get upset with Ronda Rousey when she went to the WWE?
No, I like that because she liked that. I think at the beginning because the Shayna and all those girls came to be partners with Ronda because it was very hard having females, you know, in the gym, gathering females that could fight at that level. So I had 3 of her friends, you know, from the Ultimate Fighter. Two of them came, and then Marina, her best friend, came, started working with me so they could fight too, and they fought, you know, in the UFC. 2 of them, Jessamine and Shayna, and. Yeah, just they called themselves the 4 Horsewomen, and they just, you know, they you could tell that they were going towards that direction. So I was cool with it. I was like, whatever, you know. The movies were bugging me more because I was telling her, like, don't carry 2 watermelons, you know, under one arm. One of them is gonna fall.
What does nigga say?
I was
What's
gonna
up?
put that in here.
What's your problem with watermelons?
No, I'm saying don't carry like both of them. One of them is gonna fall and break.
Oh,
you know
okay, yeah,
what
that's
I
a
mean?
good point though. You're not supposed. Watermelons are heavy.
But you realize he looked right at you when he said it.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing great, both dual eye contact. But on that one, you just stayed locked in.
All right,
Great
all right.
coach. Intimidation back there.
Yeah, because Stephen Quattro's taught me about doing movies while you still training for a fight. He said that's not a good look because you spread your focus out wrong. So I understand that concept.
Yeah, the first movie, especially with Misha, like I don't think it should have gone to like 3 rounds or whatever in the drag into the second round. And I think it's tough to do. And all those hours, man, she put in a lot of hours. When she came, she was like, we had like a month to prepare, and she was so like, so skinny, acting all day, not eating properly, losing all that muscle. So it's tough, man, doing all that, both of them together. And I'm sure you know better.
It's tough. But I didn't get skinny. I went the other way. I was bored eating at the craft table. I used to do. I used to get a cup full of what's those peanut M&Ms and mix it with trail mix and mix it with like cashews, and I just walk around eating it all day. Then my outfit started getting tight, and I remember one day on set, I said, "Man, somebody's streaking my outfit," and the director looked at me. He was like, "Really? You think somebody's streaking your outfit?" He's like, "No." He said, "You gaining weight." I'm like, "Oh," because I couldn't train either though. Okay. I couldn't train. 'Cause I had like fake tattoos on me.
Right. You didn't bring like a team to train you on?
Yeah, I did. I brought a coach, one of my teammates, to come train with me, Tom Blackledge. But we couldn't train. I was ordered not to train, not to mess up the tattoos.
When Ronda first came, let's talk about Ronda for a sec. She's like, obviously we've all discussed this, and the world knows Ronda Rousey's name. One of the most iconic and the pioneers of like women mixed martial arts in the UFC for sure, without a doubt. But when she first walked into the gym, did she already have that aura? Like, did people already know that she was going to be a superstar? Did you know that?
No, not at all. No, because she had no striking background, nothing, and just her judo. And before that, she took like a year and a half, I believe, after the Olympics off. You know, so when she came in, she was just a judokai, and I mean, United States judo, how strong is it? It's not that strong. It's not like our wrestling team. So, in my mind, I was like, okay, American judo. I mean, girls, we have an edge, they have an edge, American females, in United States, like the soccer team, they're great, they're good. So I was like, okay, she's good. She's a, female judokai, and that's about it. Didn't have the striking at all, zero. She just started with me.
What was the most difficult transition to get her to go from judo to like MMA and kind of use the complete package of hands? Because we'll talk about the way you kind of worked with her hands, but training wise, was it difficult?
No, it wasn't that tough, but I think she tried out with a few other coaches before she, chose me as her trainer. And I think they try to make her stand an opposite stance, which is having the right foot forward, because she's a lefty. So in judo, she kept her left foot forward. And when she came to me, I said, keep your left foot forward. Don't worry, let's box like that. And she said, all the coaches are saying if I'm a lefty, I should keep my right foot forward. She went to American Top Team, I believe, or other places. I said, no, it's not like that. I said, there's a lot of fighters that are, orthodox, they stand southpaw. They're left-handers, they stand right-hander. Like Oscar De La Hoya, his lead hand is strong, And then with Nate and Nick, I said, it seems like they're dragging their back foot. I believe they're not naturally lefties, and they stand like that. And I think she had a, contact, and she asked, and she was like, holy shit, like how'd you know that? I'm like, it's either they've been hit a lot or they're dragging their back foot, because I could see it's not natural. It's not their natural stance, And she said, oh, that's cool. That means I could do it from distance. I said, of course, you did all your life judo, with that stance, you won a medal. Why would you switch your stance for MMA? Let's keep that lead hand. Your left hand will be strong. It's a perfect weapon to work your way inside with the jab. You want to keep anybody away, you keep them away with your jab. You want to get inside, use your jab. Yeah, I want to get inside. I said, let's have a great jab. We'll get inside, And that's it. And her left hand was her strong hand, and it was in front of her. So, use the jab, and the first 10 fights, you see she double, triple jabs, and she's inside, and then the rest is done, She gets a hold of them, the fight's over. So, it wasn't difficult, but explaining to them. But of course, the sparrings, she would, she would back up at the beginning with sparring because they're not used to getting hit, this and that. And I brought good talent to spar with her. I didn't want her to learn the sloppy way of doing it, Then I brought the girls or the guys that were sloppy, But at the beginning, good structured sparring so she could learn the right way, instead of dealing with all the craziness. I said, that we'll deal with later. Let's learn correctly. And she would back up sometimes. And then one day I said, do you back up when you do judo? She said, no. I said, then why are you backing up here? I said, keep moving forward. When you go forward with that speed and power, you know how difficult it is for somebody to kick you going backwards? You have to be like an Olympic Taekwondo guy, female. And she said, all right, you'll never see me ever go back again. And I swear, from that day on, she never went backwards. Only forward in sparring, dropping, world champion girls, looking amazing. So, and, Olympic medalist, mentally strong. So it's not that difficult, to train.
Would you say she a fast learner?
Very fast learner. And one thing is, like I see in Arman too, like when I leave here, when I train him, he asks me, hey, coach, could you work on this a little bit more with me next time? Or could you look at this fighter? What do you think about this situation? Come back and give me advice. They're not shy or feel uncomfortable asking the coach, how to improve, what to do. Or if I'm throwing a liver shot, I'm not comfortable, from this distance. I'm throwing it, I feel like I'm open. What could I do so I won't feel I'm open, when I dig the body to the liver? And these are questions that she would ask, Arman asks, I'm like, hey, that's great. You don't feel comfortable. It's not like you're scared, but ask, I'll tell you, where to position your body, where to keep your head, how to close a little bit and then go to the body so they wouldn't be ready for that shot, so they can't counter you with anything. So, yeah, that's about it.
It's funny because you say that. One thing I wanted to talk about was I got the honor of meeting you with Arman, and we were training at Santo Performance Studio next door, where we built a brand new jiu-jitsu studio. And one of the main things that I was watching you do, because when he trains here at Jaxxon Media House, we built a cage so everybody could watch, and it's more of like content, and it's okay for people to be here because everybody knows here there's going to be a lot of people. We're not really monitoring who's in and out. It's the staff, it's the brand, it's where we design our watches and our chains. But then we built a private facility where people could work on technique and try things. They don't need to worry about people videoing them, which I think is important, which I learned from Rampage and TJ. I'm still learning how to do this. So we built a private facility just for training. That's where you've been training him. And there's also a very famous video that came from that gym. But one thing is, what I love that I don't see a lot of people do is he was watching Rampage and myself and Eric Nixick and TJ. And then he trained a little bit with TJ and Mighty Mouse. Then he trained a little bit with Hamzat. And then he goes, oh, I'm going to have you come, Coach Ed. And when you came, he trained with you for an hour, and then he asks you about 3 different techniques. Then he comes home, and he hits me up. He's like, yo, come over to the house. So he's living right by me over here in Newport Beach, and he has all the fights on that he was asking you about. And he's like, just leave these on. We're going to watch them on repeat. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. You trained all day. You trained all day with TJ Dillashaw, who's a legend, right? And you're training with you, and you're learning all this technique, and you still go home. And the same 3 techniques that you wanted to learn, you're going home to watch how those techniques were executed by top UFC fighters. And then the next day hits you up and goes, hey, can we train again those techniques? Yeah. I'm like, bro, this is the stuff, like people call it glazing, or they could say whatever it is, but like I'm around the best athletes in the world from every sport, baseball, football, motocross, surfing, 100%. And watching Arman and Hamzat, watching these types of guys do it. I saw some of that in Rampage when he was doing his boxing, getting ready for his big fight. I see some of that in Luke Rockhold, but like, when TJ was here, it's a whole different level. That I feel is like what takes a fighter to the next level. Can you kind of break down what Arman Tsarukyan, how he looks at fighting, how you guys train together? Because the things you guys do, it's incredible. Yeah,
he's just a sponge, man. I believe the information. I think he's hungry to keep learning. It doesn't matter, it's like a broken clock would say the time right once a day also. And he's just open-minded. He wants to keep learning, He wants to keep learning, and he wants to get better, and, the surprise he was talking about when he was going to fight Islam, I know there is going to be a surprise, it's a guy that's not just saying it. We know he has a lot of pride and honor and the way he lives his life, and the Russians, Armenians, where they come from. So if you think about that and him saying something like that, he's not just saying it to entertain people. Which is cool. It's entertaining. It's going to get, buys. It's going to get people to tune in. But yeah, this Arman is is a blessing. Students like that, I think, are just a blessing because it makes a coach's job easier, and it makes the coach hungry also, and makes the coach want to give them information also. You know, he's the right student. He knows what being a student is. I think that's the most important. There's guys out there that have an ego and they think they know it. And, you know, if you're going to be like that and not learn every day, I don't think you should be you should be competing, because you're going to lose, and it's not going to work. You know, it's not going to work.
Rampage, for you, like when you would go into a fight, would you ever like watch a fighter you were about to fight and then ask your coach to break down a certain move that he did or combination and just practice countering it?
No, never.
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 How would you get ready for like, say, a guy like Vanderlei who was like just incredible, and like you wouldn't go look at his technique?
The first time I fought Vanderlei, I did. I watched all his fights, and it was, for me, it was the biggest mistake of my career. At the time I fought Vanderlei, he was undefeated for 5 years, and if I can remember correctly, the only fight that I even saw him lose from all those was when he fought Vitor Belfort in the first time in the UFC. I didn't get any of the footage of him.
Why
losing.
didn't you like looking at it? Did it make you like more angry or impatient to get in there fast and show what you could do, was it psychological?
It put doubt. It put doubt because I have like this defense that I use, but when I fought Vanderlei, I thought that he was too fast. I didn't think that my defense, because my cover and roll, I'm supposed to go after 3 punches, then retaliate. But and that lost me the fight with Vanderlei because I didn't retaliate, and he just grabbed me and started kneeing me. And that was from watching his tape. And after that, I never watched any other opponent's tape ever again. And I actually enjoyed learning about my opponent as I'm fighting him. That was like something for me in the fight. I really enjoyed that. See if I can, like, as a puzzle, I can figure out.
During sparring, did you deal good with speed, or you think you had an issue dealing with speed? You know, because there's some fighters that they don't deal with speed very well. If you're a little bit patient in front of them, you'll do what you're supposed to do. But there's guys that don't deal good, like Oscar De La Hoya. Remember him with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's quick. You know, Sugar Shane Mosley, he's quick. Guys that are quick, it's different. Because they're touching you, real quick, right away. The timing is different. They're not giving you 1 second or 2 seconds to think. You know.
Yeah, I'm not known for speed, but I never really had a problem with people faster than me because of my defense.
Okay.
But for some reason, that got in my head, and I didn't execute. I'm supposed to fire back after 3 punches, and with a counter. And then so years later, when I fought him in the UFC, I did it perfectly, and I knocked him out. That's how I knocked him out. And he knew I had the defense. Vanderlei knew that was my defense because he had already fought me twice. And if I would have did that in the first fight, I probably would have knocked him out the first time we fought.
I think it's the time too. The times that, you know, the old school fighters, a little bit different. You know, they were like, I want to say real fighters. You know, nowadays too much scientific, and they see on coaches studying too much. I don't know, bringing, you know, psychic this, that, or whatever, scientist, and they get into that. Realistically, fighting is here, and putting your balls together, you know, having all those three together. And back in the days, and I always say they fought their heart out because they would come, let's say once a month, it's big show, they want people to come and watch, and nowadays they watch on their phone every second. So those guys wanted to really fight that day so they could, next time when they're fighting, people could tune in or come. But nowadays it's every day on the phone, and they want to stay clean, not get hit. Look at boxing. Nobody wants to engage. You know, they're like, oh, this is better. We have the views. We do other stuff. Instagram, this, that. We make money and we have the views. Why go out there and get our head punched, you know? So it's different. Your era is different.
I'm going to take a step out and give my opinion on this. I think social media changed fighting too. I'm going to tell you why.
100%.
Because back in the day before social media, you know what I'm saying, you lose a fight, all right, you lost a fight. If you bump into a fan, then you hear, oh, you know what I'm saying, sorry about your last fight. So, and that bothers you too. But now you lose a fight, people DMing you videos and pictures of you getting knocked out. So that plays in the back of your head. So you fight not to lose and stuff, so not to get embarrassed, because it's more in your face now. Fans can comment on your posts, they can DM you stuff. You just too much access to you. So I think that changed People like, 'cause it's embarrassing when you get knocked out. It's embarrassing if you know what I'm saying, you get TKO'd or you lose, especially in America.
True. It's too much mental part now is way different. It's too much, I think, as a coach, you know. People getting in and writing all that stuff. Oh, it's my fault, this, that. Okay, well, what about when she was winning? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it happens. Mike Tyson, the greatest in the world, you know, fell. And fighters like that are offensive and so physically strong and always attacking, they will get caught. They will get countered. One day you'll, you know, bump into a shot. And it happens, you know, it happens.
Rampage, you talk about like the mindset too. You're always pretty big on this. Like when a fighter is getting into that next level, there's something that clicks for them and it allows them to put everything together. And once again, I don't remember what podcast it was, but you and TJ went back and forth on this about what it takes to be a champion, not saying any names, being completely serious. And it was about connecting the dots. Like some people could be the most athletic and the most talented, and TJ Dillashaw puts it that it still doesn't mean they could put it all together. And Rampage was like, some people don't have anything, but when they go in the cage, they have the mindset where they just know they're better and they could put anything together at that time and be reactive. TJ says Rampage was one of the most reactive fighters he's ever seen in the cage. Wouldn't practice technique in a good way, but would go in there and be able to, in real time, see everything happening.
He believed himself
100%.
In himself differently. That's why he didn't have to watch video.
100%.
You know, because he knows he could deal with that situation. You know, just put him in that situation, he'll deal with it.
And so people talk about Ronda in her prime was like untouchable. What was the biggest factor? Do you think it was the dominance of like mindset? Was it technique? Was it pressure? Was she able to just put it all together?
All of it. She'd do a lot, you know, and not like she would watch video a lot. I would do that part, you know, and I would give her my advice and she would go through it, you know, once or twice with me when we would start camp and then just put it away because we believed in her. And you know, one thing is she was always faster, stronger, quicker, more athletic. You know, she had that edge because Olympian, you know, higher, faster, stronger, you know, then you're an Olympic medalist. So she had that, you know, I wasn't worried about all that. And we just put a game plan together, how to get inside and where the fight is going to, you know, end, middle of the octagon or on the cage, you know, on the fence. Why? Because there was girls out there that they thought their grappling was better. So they stood in the middle and they try to trade like Alexis Davis. I said, this fight's going to finish in the middle. And when it was finished in the middle of the octagon, she's like, how'd you know? I'm like, because she thought she's a better grappler. She's not going to run away from you. She's going to stand, exchange with you, and now she's going to get submitted in the middle of the octagon or knocked out in the middle of the octagon. The girls that didn't want that, didn't want to grapple, of course, they were going to move, and now the outcome was going to be against the fence, you know, and it's simple to strategize all those things. And the first knockout she did, you know, I called it. I told Joe Rogan we're going to knock her out with a liver shot, and Joe Rogan was like, how do you know that? Ronda's never knocked out anybody. I said, well, this fight, she'll knock her out with a liver shot. You'll see. And she did that. Why? Because she was a wrestler, silver medalist, and the posture on the cage. And in the gym, she was knocking out everybody with the liver shot because of the posture wrestlers have. And on the cage, she would exchange, you know, elbows, knees, and boom, drop everybody with the knee or with the punch to the liver. And I said that it happened. And people like, how do you call all the fights? You know, is something going on here? I'm like, no, it's just, it's simple because you see it. And she's an athlete that she will execute, you know, what you see. So
how do you deal with the fans saying that you made Ronda fall in love with her hands and that kind of declined her overall style of MMA?
It's stupid to say what fall in love. You know, for me, she wins, she makes the money, I get paid. Like, why would I want her to knock somebody out with her hands and not use her submissions? You have to be an idiot to do that and not care about your family and not care about yourself. You know, how much of an ego could you have? Punch so everybody could know I'm the best boxing trainer. That's stupidity. You know what I mean? Win, I'm still going to be a good trainer. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to feed my family. You have to be an idiot to do that. So, you know, all the fights, even with the Betch Correa, I said, you know, you're going to punch her. She's going to want to hug you because she was upset. She talked shit about her father, you know, committing suicide. And I said, Ronda, you're going to engage. You're going to punch her so hard on the cage. She's going to want to hug you. You're not going to want to grab her. She's going to want to grab you because you're going to throw, you know, you're going to let your hands go. And she started letting her hands go angled off, and Betch Correa tried to come grab her. I'm like, see, exactly what I told you. And then she wanted to grab her. Ronda said, hell no, you're not grabbing me. Pushed her off, boom, 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 knocked her out. I said, it's your choice. You want to grab her, take her down. You don't want to grab, you want to punch her when she wants to grab you, but she's going to grab you. You're going to make her grab you because, you know, everybody thinks Ronda's going to go grab them, but she's going to punch so hard this fight. And then she said, yeah, I wanted to knock her out because punishment for, you know, saying that about my dad. I said, that's your decision.
Oh, Ronda's father committed suicide?
Yes, you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And then she said
talked
bad
about it in a
stuff
press conference.
In press conference, and Ronda was upset.
While she was in the UFC?
Yes, in the UFC.
No,
No.
they
Her dad committed suicide back when she was young. She was 9 years old.
Okay.
But they were in a press conference, and I remember that. Well, it's not a clip.
Yeah,
but I remember
she talks shit a little bit to get in Ronda's head. And, you know,
you don't talk about
yeah,
that
not
shit.
about family like that. And then I was walking in. They threw the Brazilian flag on my head. I picked it up. I wanted to swing at the guy. I'm like, bro, that's a flag. Respect that. We're in your country. And I gave it to the security, took it, I think. And then right when she won, I didn't even congratulate her. I ran after that guy. I ran after him to tell him I told you. Like, you know what I mean? Don't do that, man. Respect, have some respect.
Yeah, you have some respect for people's flags.
when you would go to events, UFC fights specifically, but events in terms of like the press conferences, you know, the meet and greets. I've seen some crazy ones. Obviously I've been friends with Rampage forever. So we did an event, I don't know, 15 years ago, and he was representing my vape juice company, and he walked in with French Montana. There was about 10,000 kids there waiting to see him for a meet and greet. You remember that?
Nice.
And it was like a phenomenal moment for me, right? I got to watch something that was just next level. And I saw the energy and the kind of the love and appreciation people had for MMA fighters, but people that put on a show. We've seen some incredible moments with Ronda Rousey, just drawing crowds and doing things that we've never seen, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I've heard in particular was that at one point the UFC said that she was bringing in that she was getting paid $10 to $15 million per fight, and she was becoming the highest paid fighter, and people were just, you know, going crazy over her, and there was some other business deals there. I don't want to get too much into the business. Is this true? Is the rumor?
Sure. Yeah. She made big numbers,
Yeah.
you know, but because of the pay-per-view buys, of course, you know, so she would get.
But she did like 4 of these in a row, or 3 of these in a row.
Yeah, the pay-per-view buys, of course, she did over 1 million buys. So if you think about, you know, $3, 1 million buys, that's 3 million already without the purse. So yeah, it would add up, you know, around 10 million, and she did very well for a female.
But doing that back to back to back, have you ever witnessed or seen a fighter like that at the time, especially in women's? That's never been done.
But the numbers are numbers, you know, because numbers are numbers. It doesn't matter if you're a female or a male. The numbers are, you know, numbers, and you're getting paid.
Yeah.
So if it's a guy that's doing 1 million buys or a female, what's the difference? 1 million buys, they're giving you $3 off of every pay-per-view buy. It's $3 million. Who cares? It's a guy fighting, or it's a female, or it's a, you know, me fighting, who's fighting. It doesn't matter as long as you're bringing in the numbers, you know.
But was there ever a extra compensation or extra bonus?
Yeah,
because
they always Dana,
yeah.
and Lorenzo always took care of her.
We heard that made it go from like a couple million to a couple more million.
Yeah. They were always
Get a couple $1 million bonus.
Yeah.
No,
she didn't get a couple of million of bonus. She got a good bonus, you know, good amount, but which helped the millions out, of course. But she got paid well, you know. But they took care of her for sure, especially from the beginning, because they took a risk too. End of the day, you know, they invested money in her to, you know, bring the females to see how it will work, you know. And the first fight, of course, was exciting. You know, the first fight, she was about to get choked out, and then she turns around, you know, with Liz Carmouche, and then she submits the opponent. So it was perfect, you know. It was a difficult fight. She was about to, you know, get choked out. She got her back, Ronda's back, and about to finish, and then she gets the armbar again. So it worked out perfect, I believe, you know. But they did an investment too, so the pay I was happy with it. I think they did a good job.
Dana White's always talking about you and how much money you made. How did the pay-per-view buys work though? Do they just give you a piece of every pay-per-view, a piece of the whole card, a piece of concessions? Is it like boxing where you got everything?
No, you just get a piece of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it takes like 3 months. It takes like 3 months. They have up to 3 months to count exactly because it's so hard. And then once they count it, they send a check. You know how much you get from the pay-per-view buys. And then the first 200,000, you don't get money because it's covers the event and the expense. So after 200 to 400, 400 to 600, slowly.
And
get
like
money.
maybe a bonus if you got a certain amount.
So if you hit more than 1 million, of course you could ask more. You know, that's why like people like Mayweather and all those guys make that crazy money, is because they hit over 1 million. Man, they're up to 2 million, to, you know, 2.5 million buys. That's insane. But Ronda, I believe, and Conor are the biggest pay-per-view draws. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And the numbers.
100%.
100%, they're the highest.
What about like concessions and all that stuff like boxing? They all get money off concessions and pay-per-views and sponsors.
Boxing,
pay-per-view.
Just pay-per-view boxing. They don't do those bonus stuff. I think they get paid so well. They don't care about those bonus. What are you going to give them as a bonus to make them happy, you know?
Yeah, Floyd is the only fighter I ever heard of getting a piece of the concessions. And
Oh, really?
yeah, he's the only one.
Yeah, because they talk about like the buy, like they always put out like who had the most buys and when did the buys come from. But if you look at like it consistently went up every year, but there was from 2000 from UFC 200 all the way. I mean, they have a record on it, and it shows like, I mean, she's pretty high up there.
She's high.
Yeah, Floyd used to get a piece of the gate as well. I don't think a lot of.
I think there's one story about Ronaldo's too. Ronaldo's thing, agent, I think, didn't do the contract, and when he was with Real, and he said wait, and then the stadium was full of his fans, and then he got a piece of the gate, everything. It's like look what I'm bringing, to the table. Yeah. So that's smart. He said I'm not doing a contract till he plays one game. Let him play one game, see the outcome, and then let's make a deal. That was genius. You saw everybody, David Ronaldo, this is crazy. Now you pay me more. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm doing it myself. Yeah. One player is doing the whole thing. Play a shitty ass team. It doesn't matter. Put him on the field. Watch what happens. Everybody stands up.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's business. So David Beckham, he did the deal with MLS where he got to basically have a preset price that he could buy an MLS team in the future at because he knew the valuation of MLS was going to skyrocket. That's how he got Miami, and then he was able to put together a deal with Messi, and then he also got a piece of all the jersey sales. He also got a piece of the rights. He got a piece of the concessions.
Jersey sales.
Oh, he made hundreds of millions, but he signed for like 10 million.
One day you'll take out the whole money. Imagine 200 million in Spain, Europe, all of buying your jerseys. 200-300 million jerseys selling in one day. Ronda had a shirt. So it says a DNB, it's like a do nothing bitch. So she came up with that quote, don't be a do nothing bitch, like just wait for your husband to make money or whatever. You work too, you're a female, it doesn't matter. I think that's how she came up with it. And she had, during the weigh-in, she was making weight and she had like another pound or two. And I opened the door, there was so many people at Vegas sitting to take pictures, and Eric Williams was there. Williams, I said, Eric, come in, and because he's nice, he took photos of her, and he snapped a nice photo. She was like this, when made weight, very lean, and they made a shirt with do nothing, and like sold $1 million.
No way.
Yeah, within like 24 hours.
No way.
Yeah, $1 million, 24 hours. Imagine those soccer players.
Is that the one on the bed?
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, Bear had one of those. He used to wear it around.
Of course. Who didn't? I used to wear that when I would train. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the top 10 best-selling UFC pay-per-views of all time, McGregor has 8 out of the 10.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I can't imagine how much money he made on pay-per-views.
Irish people, not too many too, huh? 10 million, I think. Yeah, in Ireland, how many people?
Well, he was just a global superstar.
Global, but
what he did for UFC is incredible. Yeah. When you talk about like some of the serious names that you've worked with, who's a fighter you coach that you're like, man, this fighter does not get enough credit, guy or girl, doesn't matter.
I had a left-handed, Gabriel Tolmadjian, fought Pedraza, that fought Lomachenko, all those guys, great fighter. But when you're not a knockout artist, especially in boxing, you're drawn dead, man. Boxing is so tough to break through because look, he boxed beautifully, silver medalist in the World Games, but when you don't have that crazy knockout power and you box, people don't enjoy that. If he was in the UFC, at least it doesn't matter. Like, look, Merab didn't have knockouts, finishes, but he's consistent. His pace is so high. Like, he figured out a way how to market himself, and people come to watch the UFC. It doesn't matter. But if you have Gabriel fighting on a Golden Boy card, people are not going to come to watch that. But the UFC already has the name, so they're still going to come. They're going to see a great, athletic, good, skilled fighter, and they're going to appreciate it. But in boxing, man.
How was his personality outside of the ring, though?
No, he didn't have the personality either. Yeah. But boxing, they don't even work on that to show your personality. Right. You have to, it's so tough, you have to do that yourself. That's why I think boxing, when they become a champion, they hold on to the belt so much longer and they fight for the title so much longer, is because they're so hungry. Because they don't make nothing until they become a champion. After 10 years, people start giving him the credit. Right? Now you're a legit champion. You won 2-3 titles, WBC, WBA, this. But UFC, right away, you could become a star, right away and make money right away. And then that's why they make it right away. They didn't have so much of a grind, you know, and they made it so much right away. 3-4 fights, now they're superstars like Ilya Tapuria, this, that, right away you're a superstar. In boxing, at that level, you're not going to be nothing until you hit that 10 years of professional fighting, people to give you really the credit. All the, you know, commentator, historians, you know, it's tougher. And that's why I think that when they become a champion, they're like, holy shit, 10 years I've been, you know, working my ass off. I got to hold this. I got to start just making money. You're fighting for the world title, $75,000, $100,000, $150,000. It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Boxing is crazy.
I know, but I think that's one of the reasons why Ronda Rousey was so popular, not only because she's a great fighter, but her personality outside of the cage.
Yes.
But I also think that hurt her in the future because the fans turned on her.
Yeah.
I've never seen fans turn on a fighter that hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but why?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
interesting.
It's
I
probably
don't know.
because of
I've never
personality.
done
No, but give me your
Personality.
opinion, because you know a lot about the way fans react to fighters. You know more than most. You see it from both sides, and you understand the internet.
Yeah, but
I think they wanted more from her, and she didn't give that. More interviews, this, that, and she didn't get out and speak about what they want to hear, you know? She was silent at times, and, you know, after the first loss, you know, she didn't want to do any interviews, this and that, and it was a way to not hear from her and then get in, and people would be excited to tune in to. It worked. It got the buys, but people weren't happy with that.
Yeah, people want,
you know?
and when you lose, a lot of fans want you to, like, you know what I'm saying, not be a sore loser or something like that. They want to hear
accept the loss, and
they wanna see how,
the girl is better than me, like give credit. Yeah, I understand. It's a different way of looking at it, I think. But the more you give, I think she was burned out. You get burned out. The more you give, these people want more. Rampage, you know how it is. You've been a champion. How much could you do? How much more could you do? They don't think about that. You have a family too. You have your kid too. You need to relax a little bit. Be a normal human being.
Right.
No, more podcasts, more. I want you more. Please be here. Please sign this. Please do this. You know how many people I grabbed? I'm like, brother, you had 5 of the same pictures signed. 1 for your restroom, 1 for your house, 1 for your room. How many do you want? And then they run away. I'm like, come on, be a normal human being.
Right.
Get 1 or 2, please.
Right.
She's good with the fan. Coming to the gym at 10 at night, we're going out, finishing the training. It's dark, bro. You attack and try to get a picture or something. Come on, that's not normal.
Right.
You know, that will be
gets
like,
overwhelming.
It gets overwhelming. Psychologically, you'll be like, hell with this, hell the money, hell with everything.
Yeah.
Especially being up there, you know,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
yes, yeah.
Female too, you know, they try to grab your hand, taking a picture, this, that, bro, relax. We get pissed off as men. Imagine as female.
Yeah, but Rampage, I actually want you to tell me something. In terms of like the legendary rise of her, how fast it was, how much love she had, not just the UFC, just women in general looking at her as like the inspiration to being strong and independent. She like stood for a lot more than just fighting. Why do you think it turned though so fast? Because you would think that most of it would have stayed with her and most of it would have been able to combat that.
I don't want to give my opinions because he's close to her and stuff like that.
No, but you respectfully give it, not in a bad way. It happened. It's not like you're saying anything bad.
Well, with all due respect, I think I never met her personally, so I don't.
Great girl.
Yeah. So her persona was like a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like I think because she was saying that she could beat up dudes and stuff like that. The majority of the fans are dudes. She brought a lot of women over to the sport, but and I have this strange feeling that majority of our haters are our fans. That they like you, they're your fans, but then they kind of hate on you a little bit because they can't do what you can do.
Exactly.
And so as soon as you fail, as soon as you lose, it's just in them. It just comes out, and then they want to be directly negative
you're
towards
right.
you.
But you know, like that, even that part that you said about like guys, like she could beat up guys. That confidence she has, and I gave the example already. A girl lifting more than us. Should me and you right now feel bad that she could whip our ass with weightlifting? No, I'm gonna accept it. I gave the reason. I just gave the example why she said that or why she, thought that. I said a lot of things too. I said nobody could kick her. You know what I mean? And then she got kicked. But it's not nobody could kick her. I said, the way she attacks for you to go backwards and kick her, it's going to be impossible. You got to look at what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to be a ninja to run back with the speed and the power she's attacking you with a jab. We can't do that, going back and throwing a punch if somebody comes at us with a jab like that. We're not going to back up and throw a kick. It's not going to happen. So imagine her with being that strong in the female division, how they're going to do that. But then she takes a punch, she slips, and then she, Holly pulls her hand, and then she kicks her from the side. And now they're saying, oh, you said she's never going to get kicked. Come on. It's two different things.
Yeah, those are trolls.
Even Joe Rogan saying that, talking about that. Come on, brother.
What did he say?
About like the kick part, or like I've kicked with talking to, I think, Mighty Mouse, and talking to him and saying, oh, Edmond said he didn't kick. Oh, has he kicked? Man, when I was kicking, you guys weren't doing nothing. Joe Rogan, when I was kicking and fighting, you didn't know what kicking was. You did Taekwondo, but I fought as a professional fighter. And Joe Schilling is there to back me up, saying, Edmond fought professionally. I've seen his fights. I fought on the same cards. But you don't say that. Before that, but before that, he was always, in Brazil, even emotional, crying, oh my God, her boxing skills. And then one loss, you start talking like that about me, the coaching, or what I said. Come on, man. And you don't even commentate the right way in the fight. If you watch with the Holly fight, in the 4-minute mark, I yell, you could hear me. I say, Ronda, right hand, left hook. She catches Holly with a right hand, left hook. Holly's leg, like this, buckle. And she goes. And Ronda goes, instead of kneeing her, she's down on the ground. She has knee surgery, 6 of them. She can't knee her, so she grabs on. Holly recovers somehow. They don't even talk about that. They're so into only Ronda getting touched because she's never been touched. And they're only talking about that. But watch the 4-minute margin and you tell me how she catches her. And you listen to me when I'm saying that. Right hand, left hook. I swear she's out on her feet. Only way she recovers is because of all her boxing experience she has. She has over, 36, professional boxing. She recovers so well. I give her credit. See, I'm giving the credit. But she gets caught. Anybody else, they were out. 4-minute. Watch the 4-minute, you will see.
Ronda had knockout power?
Amazing. Watch the 4-minute in the first round with Holly. Nobody talks about that. Joe Rogan, nobody. They don't even see that shot. It's so fast. I say Ronda, right hand, left hook. She boom, boom. Holly's like this. Comes and recovers. But nobody ever sees that. Nobody ever talks about that. They just talk about, dominance. Come on, man. It's a fight. It could happen.
Yeah. Did Ronda train judo during her UFC career still?
Yeah. A lot of wrestling. We had our wrestling coach with us, Martin Berberian, which is Olympic, 3-time Olympian, bronze medalist in the World Games, and beat actually Coleman Scott in the Olympic trials here. But
she trained with Caro Parisian?
Yeah, all of them. At the beginning, Caro was there. Yeah, at the beginning, they trained together. We had SK Golden Boys, all the guys, Manny, everybody trained, yeah.
Did she train with gi on doing her?
No gi. She didn't wear gi too much, yeah. After none. She didn't even wear it. No, not at all.
How's training with Caro Parisian?
Good. That guy's one of the best, man. If Caro was, disciplined, I think just one of the best I've seen. Man, that guy clinches you. I don't know where he gets that power from. I've never seen him lose in arm wrestling. My brother-in-law, like his left hand, like right hand, he's a wrestler, very strong. I've never seen him lose. I swear to God, Carl put no way. I'm like, how strong is this guy? And his physique, you can't tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I swear he clinched me one day. I'm like, bro, let go of your hand, bro. How do you grab this hard? No, bro, talented. No training, bro. You fought like that. Look at the guys you fight, how he tosses them. No training, I promise you.
How was he in the gym? How was sparring?
He trained. Look, when he was there, he would train. I think Caro from his dad. I think his dad was a big influence, and his dad was always there watching him. And when his dad passed away, a lot of things happened.
Yeah,
I think that's the bad part. But Caro, I think, is one of the best I've seen in the gym ever. And I wish he could have showed it more in the UFC, in the octagon. He's guaranteed very talented. Nothing to say about his skills are very good.
I've been looking at a lot of the videos, and a lot of the people have been asking about speed and power. But I heard you talk to Arman. You also talked to us a little bit about it this morning, about when someone has speed and power, people, it's hard to deal with that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Khamzat and DDP?
Yeah, I think DDP doesn't deal with speed very well. I watched the fight that he gets knocked out. from a Russian guy, I think, before the UFC, of course. But back then he fight a little bit more structured. He would fight like a kickboxer, you know, because he has a kickboxing background. But then he saw that doesn't work so well in MMA. And now he switch hits and he runs at you at times, you know, explodes at the right time. You know, the distance is different, of course. And yeah, he fights a bit different now. But I think, yeah, speed will be a big factor in that fight. You know, Khamzat's way quicker and more explosive. And in the first round, I believe he could finish the fight.
You think he can finish in the first round?
I believe so. Because I think what I watched and... yeah, the DDP won't deal with speed very well. He won't. I know he can't deal with that speed very well.
I look a lot about people's, you know, content, people's community, the way people go through training and come through camps. And I also see a lot about how people carry themselves with their coaches and their staff. And, you know, Rampage and me always talk about the way people get managed. So we look and we see all that all day long because we have teams coming in and out of here and we like to give people a place to train. Over the years, was there a team that you guys went against going into a UFC fight where you and Ronda, it just became super personal? It became something super crazy because of the kind of limelight UFC was giving her?
No, I think with the Misha fight, she had a little bit, you know, back and forth, a little bit crazy, their Ultimate Fighter and how they would treat each other. But everything else was cool. Sometimes the coach is talking this, that, and I would, you know, get into it, say, you're talking about an Olympic athlete, you know, have some more respect and push their buttons a little bit like that. But nothing too serious, you know. We try to keep it as professional as we can. Females fighting, end of the day. Don't make it more chaotic than it is, you know.
What about the judo battles? We heard that there was a couple of judo battles late night after practices. Ronda would challenge people, guy, girl, didn't matter. Flipping people over.
No, but with some guys that, you know, had that ego a little bit, trying to show her that, oh, they're better, and like, let's say brown belt level or black belt level. And sometimes I would have to step in and stop it, is because they see how strong she is and how good she is. Now they have to go up a level and go really hard. And you don't want that to happen because injuries are going to happen. And, you know, I was more worried about the injuries, not about thinking who's going to win, who's going to lose. You're talking about a guy, end of the day, that has experience also. I'm not going to say she's going to beat them. I'm not an idiot, you know what I mean? But
because she beat a male judo guy at her same level.
Yeah. She had, before, like, I think until 16 years old, she competed in the male divisions too, because they let that. After 16 is where it changes, you know, guys going through puberty get stronger. Yes, but before that she did.
No, so, but as an adult, like, say if a black belt judoka walks in a gym.
Nowadays, the black belts, I think she will, you know, but back in the days, the real black belts, no, of course, it's a guy now you're talking about. But same weight, I think nowadays, guys, they get their black belt. You know how it is. Everybody's a black belt nowadays.
Yeah.
That's, of course.
Yeah, Bear's a black belt in jiu-jitsu now. He paid 20 grand for it.
No, I'm a blue belt. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah. The problem
But I wore a gi with her. I wore a gi. I swear to God, it's impossible. When she grips you, because I don't know how to grip like that. I didn't grip all my life. Right. Bro, when she grips you, like, let go. There's no way I could do anything. And I'm not saying I'm a black belt, but I know throws without the gi. But with the gi, it changes. Because the way she holds onto your lapel, you're like, bro, what is this? Let go of your hand. You know what I mean? And then the way she gets inside with that speed, you're going to either hurt your knee, you know? Yeah. You're going to get hurt. Like, you don't know how to, you know, work. You don't know how to counter. You don't know how to fall. What the gi on is different.
Yeah, I had to train judo for one fighter when I fought in Bellator. I can't remember his name, some Japanese guy. He was like a gold medalist in judo. Yeah. So I had to train judo, and it
for
sucks.
The sweeps and stuff.
Yeah,
you have to learn.
It sucks training.
Sucks.
If you don't,
different.
Yeah, especially if you don't.
Wasn't it hard for you to grip?
Yeah,
exactly. Like, because you're not doing all that all your life. You squeeze and you punch, or you grab and you. But you're not a gi. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. Have you seen her spar men and stuff?
Yeah. In my gym, I would have her spar the guys. Yeah, we sparred a lot with the guys. Man, she punches good, very good. She punches good. You know, everything very explosive. One thing is, though, she gives 100% every time. Yeah. You would never have. Let's say I would, of course, we starting camp Ronda. Slowly, I would give her less. But she doesn't understand that slow. Yeah. She says, Edmond, I'd rather do 100%. You could see where I'm at. Yeah. every time I give 100%, you'll see where I'm at. And then if you want to tone it down less, this and that, you make those adjustments as a trainer. But I'm going to give my 100%, which I like. Different.
Yeah,
Make
me and
sense?
Barry, we used to watch her fight, and Barry would say, "Man, I wish I could spar Ronda Rousey." But he said, "But I need like a special cup because I'd be bricked up the whole time."
Nah, come on, Barry.
That's what he said.
I don't think you like. They
what?
could go with them. No, if they didn't fight professional, no way.
No.
No,
Wait,
I don't.
she
Yeah,
would
she
kill
would knock him out.
Yeah,
She would kill me.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you didn't fight professional, no way.
Is it true that
No
she
way.
said she could beat up Cain Velasquez?
No, man.
No?
No,
Is that- I
she
thought
won't
she
say
said
that. She
that.
likes Kane. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
no,
you
no.
why you
It
putting
was
dirt,
on a podcast.
why you
We
why
just
you,
heard that.
why you
A
put-
guest just told us that.
why you putting dirt on her name?
Bro, I'm putting dirt on her name.
You
That's
putting
why
dirt
I
on her
asked,
name.
is
In
it
front of
true?
her
Listen,
coach.
thinking,
Coach, I said,
no.
is it true?
No,
Right?
she won't
Okay.
say that. But her thinking that she's the
didn't
best
say
in the world, she could beat anybody. That's a mindset. It is not saying that I'm
Yeah.
going to beat you or beat a guy.
Yeah.
You know, people have to understand what she's saying. She's saying that in herself, she believes she could beat everybody. Yes, well, it's not a bad thing to believe.
As a fighter.
If there's a fighter,
Right,
if that's
right.
going to help her get the edge to win, let her think that. What's you know, like the
Yeah,
difference.
as
I
a
mean,
fighter, you
yeah,
say that. But,
yeah, that's
but
it.
I think the problem is the fans, most of the fans,
They
were
don't
men,
understand,
and
yes.
it's a woman. They never heard a woman say that.
Yeah, especially they didn't hear somebody explain to them a little bit more. Like if they think about the weightlifting I said, I swear a lot of them will shut up because it's pure example.
She can lift 300 pounds. Ronda?
No, she can't. But
Oh,
we
sorry.
can. That Armenian girl, I know her personally. That Armenian girl, bro, 150 kilos.
She got
does.
big muscles and stuff.
Yeah, she's strong. She won the worlds in weightlifting. 61 kilos. She's Ronda's weight. We can't do that.
No.
Bear, we can't do that. So it doesn't make me weaker than her. I can't beat her up. I could beat her up. That's not the question. But she could do that better than me. Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And,
I have
and
to
Ronda
accept
can
it.
do judo better than us.
Exactly.
But Bear said he want to try it because he's going to be bricked up the whole
Come
time.
on, Bear.
You got to stop with all that. So the real reason why you decided to, come out of the dark a little bit and get back in the media and do a little podcast with today, is it true she's coming back? You guys are getting ready?
No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, we know why you're here today. Ed.
Yeah.
No, I don't
No?
know. Honestly,
Coach,
I don't
be
know.
honest with us.
No, I am being.
Too. I think a lot of people are excited about that the White House fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
We heard rumors like even John Jones want to come back for the White House
Yeah,
fight.
maybe,
Ronda Rousey,
maybe.
Conor McGregor.
I mean, she always trained. She's always training. But honestly, I don't know.
Did you ever
I haven't spoken to her about that at all.
Do you ever go watch her do the pro wrestling? You ever go and sit?
Yeah,
down?
I went with my son. My son was like, "Dude, this is not real," because we always used to. We're always used to
Yeah.
her doing real stuff, and then we didn't. I don't know. Because she did it real, it's hard to see it when she does
Yeah.
it fake.
Did she
So
enjoy
I-
that more than MMA?
I don't think so. I think she deep inside she's a fighter. I don't think so. But she enjoyed it. In the meantime, she got the belt there too. I believe. I don't understand nothing about it. So if you watch it.
No, I don't watch it no more. I used to
follow?
as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid?
but when I grew up,
Okay, so you know more than me. I don't know nothing. How
Did you have
that
to train her
works.
for any WWF fights?
No,
WWE?
No. But my friend Darren from System of the Down, Malakian, he said it best. He said, "Look, wrestling is like it's fake a little bit. It's real." And it's like a movie, it's like acting this, that, but it's in a way, it's real a little bit too. He goes, that's the only thing that's close to that.
Yeah.
Because movies are fake, let's say, fighting is real.
Yeah.
That's like in between. It's fake a little bit, but a little bit
they're
real
still
too.
getting
Sometimes
cut.
they get
They're still
engaged.
moving around.
no, what I
So-
call it is a live stunt man or
that's good.
stunt woman
Oh, yeah.
in this case.
See, that's a better way of explaining
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I did a pre-match here with Rampage and Rey Mysterio.
No,
It was me, Rampage, and Rey. Actually, Rey Mysterio just watched me and Rampage go crazy, and it was fun. I think me and Rampage could take anybody in a tag team. I think we would kill it.
Yeah.
Hey, what would we call it if we had a
but
tag
you'll
team?
be good at it. You've never thought about it?
Yeah,
He did it.
Oh, he did it?
Hey,
I
pull
used
the
to-
photo of
no,
Rampage and
don't-
Tito Ortiz wrestling.
Don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
pull that photo up.
No, I've never seen it, I swear.
Yeah, pull up the photo of Rampage wrestling with Tito Ortiz real quick, and then I want to.
But you've never thought
show the
about doing
audience
it
a video
longer?
of you.
Like you wouldn't do it?
I always wanted to. That's what got me started wrestling in high school. But then I learned that they on the road 300 days a year. I couldn't do that. You can't have a family like that. I don't see how people do
Oh,
that.
shit. Yeah, that's why Ronda had to stop to have babies, yes.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, that's a lot on those guys, man. How do they do that?
I don't know how they do that. Always on the road. I couldn't do it. It's not work for me. It's not worth it. But I
We
do
all
it.
get anxiety in the plane. I hate flying already.
Yeah, they drive. A lot of them drive. They drive from location to location. A lot of
No
them.
shit.
Yeah, this is what I heard. Well, when I heard this, they had to pay for their own transportation because it's a tax write-off for them.
Oh.
So the WWE didn't even pay
Okay,
for their lodge or their hotels and stuff like that.
Okay.
They pay for it out of their own, right?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. But I would do it if I can come on every now and then and be like a special guest.
Yeah,
and
special guest. Like Mayweather did it. I saw a little bit. Yeah, like Tyson.
Yeah.
Everybody does
Yeah.
something. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
but Ronda was
yeah.
all out. I
Yeah.
think she was doing it full. I made her gloves. So I designed it for her with the stripes. So with my boxing coach, he makes the Nazo boxing bags.
Yeah.
All of it, Mayweather's gym, all of it.
You make-
yeah.
your
So
people-
my boxing coach makes all that. So all the gyms now, it's the best bags because the way he feels it is perfect. And so I told him how to design it. He stitched it up, put it together. So I made Ronda's WWE gloves for her.
Can you make me some knockoff Pride gloves?
Yeah.
Like you remember the image?
Yeah, I have the Pride gloves. I have the ones with the fingers, MMA ones.
And with the strings?
Yeah, strings. I have it at home. I have the gold one.
Yeah.
You need this on his live stream, on his kick stream.
Can you? Because I'm doing my own amateur MMA show, and I want to bring back the essence of Pride.
Yeah,
so I've been looking for those.
We'll
MMA.
get it for you. We'll get it.
That's
for you.
epic.
It's just
Yeah.
That is
we'll
good.
do it
That's a
for
good
you.
idea.
Yeah,
He's been looking for these Pride
we'll do it
gloves.
for
He's
you.
been
No
talking about
problem.
them
Those were the
nonstop.
best gloves.
Yeah, I'll
The way-
get you in contact with Hovo. He'll come, dry it up for you, and exact the same thing. Little bit twitches here
Can
and
you
there.
show me?
Your
Because I
style.
don't even have any more Pride gloves.
I don't have the picture by me, but I have it. I have the gold one and I have the black one at home with the laces.
Yeah.
With the laces. And it's this Japanese writing in the front, like
Yeah.
a little circle.
Yeah.
It's winning, but it's not winning.
Yeah.
It's winning
Yeah,
part
that's
of
perfect.
winning.
Perfect gloves. You put your hand there real easy, then you.
No, I have
and
it,
then you
100%. And then it has the finger part like this a
so
little
you can't
bit,
poke
and
people in
then-
the so you can't poke people in the eye.
Yes.
It's perfect.
I had it for Ronda. I had 2 sizes for her.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We sparred with that, trained with that a
yeah.
little
We-
bit.
we
Let me
never
see
got
which
eye pokes.
picture Ronda had with that. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I could show you.
It's like a boxing glove mixed with
Yes,
MMA gloves.
yes,
So-
No, I know.
It's
Pride
like-
gloves.
yeah.
Yeah, with the laces here.
Yeah.
It's white laces.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, in Pride, we never
Yeah.
poke people in the eye.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
the
fingers,
gloves,
the
'cause it's
gloves are
curved.
here. It
Yeah,
comes,
and
and then it's the
Yeah,
padding here.
and it keeps your hand curved.
Yeah.
and so you can grapple really good too.
Why they not make like that? The UFC.
I don't know. I have no idea. I thought when
Well,
they said
they got rid of the brand new gloves they just brought.
And the softness. The
Yeah.
Pride ones are so beautiful. It's like a real boxing leather glove.
yeah.
He's
This
been
one is
talking about this.
raw.
Yeah.
The UFC one is like
Yeah,
it's like metal.
Yeah,
Like raw.
When I heard they was making new gloves, and I heard they was making them curved like that, that's why I figured. I said, "Oh, they're going to make it like kind of almost like
Yeah.
the Pride gloves,
No, it's
where you
almost
keep your
same
hand, you keep your hand curved like this."
One thing I want to talk about is I see this video of you and Arman training, and Arman's working on some new
Throws a
technique, and he
back kick.
back kicks you right out of the cage.
Bro, I
and
hit
this
my
video
head
has
so hard.
900 million views on ESPN.
900 million.
I
Cash.
swear I
There's
hit
7
my,
videos. Each video has 200 million views. Do the math. 7 times 2, that's 14. That's 1.4 billion views.
Yeah, man.
Look at that
There's
thing.
a lot.
Did you break your
I
neck?
hit my head so hard. I was dizzy for a second. I was like, fuck. And then I felt dizzy a little bit.
Look at Coach Bernardo running around the
Bro,
cage
if
to
there
make
was
sure he's
something,
safe.
if there was like metal or something, I hit my head over there, I would have died. I swear I hit the wall so hard.
Oh, Arman! I could tell Arman he felt bad right after.
Yeah, because I hit it hard.
The audio, Arman goes, "Oh no, Coach is dead."
I went hard. I went fast.
Did you lose consciousness? Did you? Go?
Yeah, for a second I did, but I came back after. I said fuck, and then I felt like I dizzy and my eyes blacked
That was
out
a
a little
hard
bit. I
kick,
came
too.
back.
I was in the gym that
Because I
morning.
thought that, because I always let loose a little bit, touch and come back. So I won't get the impact so hard. I'm used to that. And I went flying straight. I didn't touch nothing.
It's so crazy. I was with you that morning in the gym and everybody was training
Yeah.
and you were telling me, you're like, I mean, we could talk about the technique now. It's just a video here. It's already posted. But you wanted him to work on this kick and then kind of disguising the kick with the hands, not letting them see it coming. You guys trained this for about 2 hours, but you never trained you flying out of the cage. So I don't know where that came from.
So the gate wasn't locked.
It wasn't locked. It was pure. It was all open. Like I didn't touch it at all. Like I thought it's locked and I was going to bounce off it because I did it a few times on the other side. I bounced off and that time.
Are you going to sue Arman for that?
Nah, man.
You get a lot of money. He a billionaire.
Billionaire, yeah.
He just got another Ferrari.
Oh, yeah?
So, Coach, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Thank
I
you,
want to
guys.
say you had a phenomenal coaching career. I know it's not over yet.
Thank you.
Everything I've watched you do with Arman, he speaks very highly of you as one of the most intellectual coaches he's ever sat with. Rampage, always amazing to have you here. Always amazing to have these legendary stories. Congratulations on your return with Ronda. Hopefully you guys get the title and you make a good run.
Thank you. I don't know if she's fighting honestly.
Oh, we almost had him. We almost had him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Almost
I don't
We
know.
clickbaited him.
Yeah.
Hey, you're
I
good,
don't know,
Coach. You didn't even
honestly.
break
No,
character.
I haven't been training with her, nothing. So
All right.
I don't know.
We love you, Coach. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming. We appreciate
Thank you,
everything.
guys. Thank you,
Congrats.
guys.
Guys,
Thank
thanks
you.
for watching. Don't forget, brand new episode of Jaxxon Behind the Brand on the YouTube. And don't forget our brand new JX2 dive watch. Literally the first watch we created as an open back face. It has our brand new clasp, our new rubber strap, and it has a Japanese movement. something of quality, something of luxury, something that you can actually count on and wear every day. I wear it as well as the new JX1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. We're out.